Hello, good evening, and welcome to TTTV. My name is Andy, and tonight we are back without any problems, unlike last week. Thank you for keeping with me for the season finale of the TTP Cars Formula C League. Round number 8 is from the Brands Hatch GP circuit, and it's going to be really interesting to see what goes on here. We're just waiting on the drivers coming into the lobby. Already we've got Crusher Bro jumping in there saying sup, hyper poggers. I'm not even going to ask what that is, but I'm sure you are quite hyper considering you may have the possibility of becoming champion here tonight. You come into tonight's proceedings, Crusher leading on 322 points from Jazza on 285, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes, and it looks like we are getting ready to go straight into the first race of the evening, which is of course the traditional sprint race of 15 minutes. No tyre change, no nothing needed in that regards. How many points do you need to win? I'm going to be honest, I never quite got that far in the sums, Crusher. However, your gap, I'll just work this out quickly because you've put me on the spot now. So your gap is 37 points. So a victory would put you out of reach. As long as you finish ahead of Jazza, would put you out of reach actually. So that would be good enough for you. Just the 6 drivers here. It's obviously dropped down in numbers unfortunately towards the end of the season, and we are on the GP circuit for tonight's proceedings as well. You've got Mick Kinda for you, the Slovenian, on pole position there on the right hand side. Alan Kay, the Irishman, in second. Plaster is in third. Then it is Crusher Bro, your championship leader, in fourth. Maze is in fifth, and Jazza at the back of the field in sixth, who needs to obviously finish ahead of Crusher to have a chance of still being able to take over the championship standings from Crusher. But we will have a look and see what is going on. But we're just waiting here for the start of this evening's proceedings, so we should be getting ready up in just a moment's time from the drivers. We'll see what's going on in just a moment's time. So just waiting on the final stages. Hopefully everyone's about to hit ready up, because if they don't, then they're not going to be in it. Because that's one of the things we've seen before. I can't remember who it was that done it earlier on in the season, but someone didn't hit the ready button in time. I think it might have been our pole sitter here, Kinda for you, who did that. But let's quickly go through it. Here we go. So everybody's readied up for the start of tonight's proceedings, and hopefully we can maybe get an hour driver or two in before the end of tonight into the feature race. Lights are out and we are underway at Brands Hatch for this evening, and Crusher Bro's got a great start, jumping straight through the middle of Plaster and Alan Kay, and already makes his way up in the second place as he comes through Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Kinda for you holds the lead. It is Alan Kay in third place, with Crusher Bro in second. Alan Kay third. Jazz has moved up in the fourth place, coming up through Druids. They're getting past on Plaster, and it is Maze at the back of the field. But Kinda for you has got the Norwegian Crusher Bro all over the back of him, coming up towards 30s for the first time. This takes us away from the normal Indy circuit around the back end onto the GP layout, and Alan Kay's now been passed by Jazza and being tormented by his teammate Plaster as he come down Pilgrim's Drop for the first time, and Plaster's off the road and on the grass. He's going to need to be careful as he tries to get back on. He does do it, and Crusher Bro also has moved up into the lead of the race, drafting his way past Kinda for you down Pilgrim's Drop and into Hawthorne's Bend, and that is him away into the lead. And could that be the last time anybody sees him this evening? A victory here would be enough to take the championship with one race to spare, which is obviously here tonight as well. Off in the background there, that is Alan Kay getting a bit onto the grass. He's got Maze behind him as well in fifth place, and Alan Kay's ran wide onto the grass. That's going to give Maze a brilliant opportunity to try and draft up here towards Clark Curve takes a slow way in, lets Alan Kay go long ways in, and now he's got a much better run towards Paddock Hill Bend for the second time for this 15-minute race. Coming up to 5th gear, he'll stay on board with Mace for the meantime. He's going to try and hang it round the outside, nearly caught the grass there. He's going to try and cut back. Oh, he had to really get out the throttle there because Alan Kay just couldn't get on the power and held him up on the inside line there, and it holds on at the moment to 4th place. Mace trying his absolute best to see if he can get past the Irishman, but as you can see, it is Crusher Bro out in the lead, and he's already got himself a 3-second gap over the field already. McKinder for you's got himself 3 seconds over Jazza, who really needs to make up ground as quickly as possible. We come back though to Mays and Alan Kay fighting over 4th and 5th place, coming down Pilgrim's Drop one more time towards Hawthorns. We'll see if Mays fancies an opportunity. Missed last week at Donington, so he's trying to make up a little bit of lost ground. Alan Kay catching the grass there on the exit as they come into Westfield Corner through Dingledale now. Not as it used to be. It used to be a very fast chicane, this part of the track. No longer, it's just a straight curve, and then into Sheen Curve as well, named after the famous motorcyclist Barry Sheen, and they both through there cleanly and safely. And you can see Plaster, after being off the road, has dropped down to the back of the field and is still struggling about at the back. As you see on the bottom right hand side on the race feed, you can see that Crusher Bro set the fastest lap on a 1 minute 26.238 for him, so he's already looking like he's going to pick up the points that he needs to clinch the championship. Fastest lap from anyone else there was Jazza, 128.8, nearly a second quicker than McKinder for you, so that gap's closing in. If you can keep that up, then who knows, we could have a battle for second place on our hands before very, very long into this race. But it is Crusher who leads where he needs to be, with nearly 5 minutes done. McKinder for you in second. We've still got Alan Kay. In fact, Mays has got past Alan Kay. That must have been out of Paddock Hill Bend up the hill towards Druids, and Mays has sneaked his way up into 4th place. That puts Alan Kay down into 5th position, and it'll be interesting to see if he finds any speed to be able to fight back against Mays' move there to try and gain 4th place back. But at the moment he's already dropping back very quickly, a lot quicker around here than Alan. He has mentioned during the week that he's not looking forward to this, struggling to find good grip around this track. At least he doesn't need to worry about the weather. It's nice and sunny for all races tonight. Man of Steel, welcome along once again at the chat, shouting on, of course, Jazza, family man, in 3rd at the moment, but it's not going to be good enough just now. He needs to be ahead of Crusher Bro to take the championship into the final race, the feature race later on tonight, and at the moment it is not going to be good enough for that. Can I do the commentary? Robert says. No, that's my job. You're not stealing my job, son. Maybe another time if you're interested, if you've ever done it before, maybe we can have a look at that, but you never know. Here comes Jazza. He's needing to get up ahead of Crusher, but he's 7.5 seconds down at the moment. Set a lap time closely similar to Crusher's last time by, but 7.5 seconds to make up's quite a bit. Plus he's got the Slovenian McKinder for you in between him as well, so it's all uphill from here for Jazza, and it looks like Crusher is on his way to being crowned Season 1 TTP Cars champion by the end of this race. If not, we can do a duo. Come on, we've got a process for this one, Robert, so you've got to go through the right process, and I do this one solo at the moment in time, but we'll leave some links before. I'll give you some details, so if you were interested, you go onto Twitter. TTGaming Esports is the tag that you want, and if you were interested, then we could always have a look. If you've done anything before, and we can have a look at that as well. You never know, even if you fancy racing, maybe we could get you in for next season if you fancied, rather than being in the commentary box. But it's just me, myself and I who does this on the Saturdays at the moment, although next week I'm hoping that Kieran McGinley will be jumping in to do the M1 Pro Car Cup for us, because I'm getting on the track for that one, so do look to join us for that. But here we go anyway, 8 odd minutes to go, and let's see, Robert, Big John is up next. Hopefully he'll be in for the next race. So we've had a bit of lobby issues, meaning he's missed out. So hopefully he'll be in for the feature race coming up. But here is Crusher Bro running across the grass here, just turning in a bit too early. Got away with that one there. His lead has dropped down to about 6 seconds. Big Rab, my fan club. Nice one, good stuff. It's always good to have people along supporting you, and I'll always try and interact with the chat as much as I can. Keep an eye out, we'll get you another invite out for the feature race, John, and you can get involved in that one, my friend. But Crusher's got a 6-second lead at the moment. But kinda for you is still holding on to second. He's got 3 seconds now over Jazza, who's dropped back. Crusher's taking it too easy. Well, if you've watched these races, Crusher doesn't take it easy even when he's out in the lead. He pushes as much as he can. He wants the fastest laps. He was doing it last week at Donington when I was telling him that he was not far off a world record pace for time trials. That's how quick he was going around Donington last week. So he likes to push himself, does Crusher, and we love him for that. He's now increased that lead up to nearly 8 seconds now over McKinda for you. 126.6 there on the last lap, although he's done it quicker than that already a few laps back, a 26.2, so really getting into the groove of it now. Jazza has fell back to nearly 4 seconds now over McKinda for you. The top 3 are well out of the way of anyone else. 20 seconds clear of Mays, who's in 4th. Alan Kay's a good 15 seconds back on him in 5th, and Plaster still coming through Westfield at the back end of the circuit is in 6th place. In fact, if he's not careful, in the next couple of laps he's going to be getting lapped by the race leader who's coming through. Pilgrim's dropping Hawthorne's Bend just now onto the next part of the lap. He's coming through Westfield just now, down to 4th gear, clipping the inside of the curb, just running it wide, missing the outside curb but can pitch you, and then just keeping to the left hand side, gently onto the brakes, use as much of the curb as the track limits let you, and then into Stirling's corner, 3rd gear. Got it down to around 125 kilometres an hour. I'm not very good in the maths, so it's around about 60 plus miles an hour. I do believe I have it put on kilometres, not because I'm foreign, it's just because I use some setups for GT3s and they're always in the other metric setups, so I just do it that way round. But coming up to Paddock Hill Bend, and Crusher leads with 6 minutes to go. And he's even just messaged there, well on track. I like this track. I'm getting the feeling someone's messaging for you. Either that or you're using some sort of voice to text prediction. I don't know, but if it's yourself doing that, that's very impressive. And you're just showing off now. He's got 10-second lead now as Crusher over McKinda for you. He's got 10 seconds gap now, but as Jazz has dropped back to about 4 and a bit seconds on the rest of the field. Mays just coming across the line there in 4th, Alan Kay still in 5th, and Plaster, there he is at Westfields again in 6th place, and you can see Crusher coming through Hawthorne's Bend very, very quickly. Very sharply indeed, so he's going to be lapping Crusher. McKinda for you is off. That's at 30s. He's lost it coming out of that uphill bend, and that has cost him his front wing, possibly maybe even suspension damage as well. Yeah, he's definitely got some suspension damage. He's having to pull the steering to the left. That's going to cost him a podium, because that's going to be a hefty repair job for the Slovenian's car, and that was nearly second place now. Up and gone, up in smokes, and Mays could be on his way now to getting his first podium of the year, maybe. That could be something else. Here comes Crusher about to lap Plaster, as Plaster goes into the kitty litter and off for a beach day to stay out of the way there. And Crusher's just done a 125.9 at the same time as Dexter while driving, so to speak. Robert saying, I fancy that, it looks easy. It's not as easy as it looks. Default setups make these cars very twitchy, but if you are interested in next season, TT Twitter page again, at TT_PCars, and we'll have a look at what we can do, and we'll see if we can get you involved maybe for season 2, because this is the end of season 1 here tonight, and we're obviously always on the lookout for some drivers into next season. Not sure what cars we're going to be using yet. The drivers will be having a wee vote on that very shortly indeed. But next week, to finish the season, we do have the BMW M1 Pro Cup. With 2 rounds, one of them's definitely from Laguna Seca. At the moment it's tied between Imola and Brno in Czech Republic. So we're going to have 2 races here next week, and it's going to be a nice bit of fun to end the season. I say I'm hoping my good dream team commentating buddy Kieran McGinley is going to be jumping in the commentary box for that, because I will be on the track. Anyway, 3 and a bit minutes to go. McKinder for you is now into the pit lane, but dropped down to 5th place. It'll just be interesting to see where he comes out, if he gets out in front of Plaster. I mean, he's now underway, but he's going to obviously be held to pit lane speed limiter, so Plaster is going to get ahead of him. But with 3 minutes left, he's still got a chance to maybe gain that position back. With Jazza into second, still not going to be good enough for the championship, unfortunately, because at the moment Crusher is on his way to getting 26 points, 25 for the win and 1 for the fastest lap of the race as well, whereas Jazza at the moment on his way to 22 points. That would increase the gap from 37 points to 41 points, and obviously in the next race there's only 37 points maximum up for grab, 1 for pole, 1 for fastest lap and 35 for the win. So at the moment that man, with 2.5 minutes to left, is 2.5 minutes away from being crowned TTP Cars Season 1 champion. Only joined in round 2 as well, but he's been pretty much on it since then. In terms of victories, he's won 4 sprint races before tonight and 4 feature races. He's been on pole position at every race so far that he's been a part of. The only one he didn't get a pole position was round 1 at Alton Park, where he wasn't part of the championship at that point. 10 fastest laps and 10 podiums in total as well, which of course 8 Raymer victories. It has been a very dominating season for the Norwegian, and he is currently now 1 minute and 45 with a big moment coming out of Paddock Hill Bend, away from being crowned champion of Season 1. Jazza is in second, but I say it's not going to be enough for the Jazz man. Give him weight ballast. If I could, I would. If it's only they allowed that in this game, that'd be a good way to keep the field all together. McKinder for you is closing in on Plaster though to try and get 5th place and gain himself a few points, because he's still in a chance of gaining 3rd position in the championship here with some points tonight. He is currently on 243. Lyronic's not here tonight on 266, so it'll be interesting to see Plaster going a long way round Druids. A little bit of a bump there between the two of them, possibly a bit of lag there, but that has moved McKinder up into 5th place, and Jazza falls through and laps Plaster in behind there. He is still in 2nd place. We've got 51 seconds to go, so there's going to be one more lap, because he's not going to be able to slow down enough, I'd imagine, to finish this lap and still get across the line. So coming on to the final lap of the sprint race, and it's another possible start to a Grand Slam weekend. He's done 3 so far, including 1 last week at Donington with both wins, both fastest laps and the pole, and at the moment he's on his way to the win and the fastest lap of this race as well. McKinder for you getting the blue flags because he's got Jazza behind him. What could have been in that race, because they two were pretty close until the mistake by McKinder for you. We only caught the end of it when he was into the wall, facing the wrong direction with a broken wing and suspension damage. So what could have been for McKinder for you? But here is your race leader coming up through Surtees towards Pilgrim's Drop for the last time. Time has ran out, and you can see he's still on it. Fastest sector 1 time on this lap, 33.0. So he's still pushing it as much as possible, but it is about to be victory number 9 of the season in total. His 5th sprint race victory, and it is about to be fastest lap and the win, and also the championship as well. He's just got Stirling's and Clark Curve to negotiate for the final time, heading up to the line. Here he comes. This is your Season 1 champion, taking it with a win here, sliding through Clark Curve up towards the line. It is Crusher Bro who wins the sprint race, and with it is champion of season number 1 of TTP Cars. He wins the race in the championship. Congratulations to him. Absolutely fantastic stuff from Crusher as he takes the victory. Coming up towards the line next is going to be second place for Jazza. Another good result for him. It's going to put him up onto 7th podium of the season, but it's not going to be enough, as he's going to have Kinda For You just going across the line just ahead of him in 5th place for McKinda. Here he comes across the line. Kinda For You across in 5th, Jazza in 2nd, another podium for the Jazzman. Alan Key's already crossed the line in 4th, Plaster coming through to finish in 6th place. That is Maisie's first podium of the season as well, so congratulations to Maze on doing just that, as he's coming through very shortly. Plaster across the line in 6th place, Alan Kay there in 4th, and here comes Maze to complete the lineup, and it is going to be a first podium for him this season. It's taken until round 8, but you know what, better late than never, as they say, and he is about to take 20 points as well for finishing in 3rd place. Maze across the line and his first podium this season. Congratulations to him as well, and that is the end of race number 1, and your victor is Crusher Bro with the victory and the fastest lap. Got into the 24.8s as well. Phenomenal lap time as well. Jazza in 2nd, Maze in 3rd, Alan K 4th, McKinda For You in 5th, and Plaster rounds out the field in 6th place, picking up 15 points for that. But that is it. Champion decided in favour of Crusher Bro, and at the moment he looks like he's going to possibly have the chance to wrap it up with another weekend Grand Slam. Who knows? He needs to get the pole position, the fastest lap in the race, winning the feature, and you know that he's going to be trying what he can. Robert, what's the prize money? There is none. It's bragging rights. We're not that good. Canny Iron Brew for Andy? Yes indeed. I've got one sitting to the side, but I'm leaving it because I don't want the hiccups and not kill. And Crusher just making me feeling really old, saying he was born in 2002, because I'm 31 and born in 1987, so thanks very much for making me feel old. So what I'm going to do just now, because it is the last round, I'm going to get some music playing just now, just while I do some sums, because I don't want to leave you sitting completely in silence. So you're going to hear some background music playing just now, nothing too fancy, and I'll be back with you in a moment's time. Well, as soon as anyway YouTube stop playing adverts in the background, but that'll be helpful. Hey, back in a moment. Back after that quick little musical interlude, just to keep you from being in silence while I figured everything out. It's always helpful. So the standings, let's have a wee check here and see what we've got. Here we go. So Crusher Bro, we know, is now champion, 348 points, 41 clear of Jazza, who's on 307. Lyronic still holds 3rd place at the moment on 266, but McKinda For You is now on 259. So all he needs to do, McKinda, is to finish the race, and he will take over 3rd place in the championship. Alan King has moved up into 5th place in the championship ahead of Gero, who was here earlier in the season and dropped out earlier on. Maze has obviously gained the 20 points there, and Plaster's moved up ahead of Rappy, who again is not here this evening either. and that moves him up into... that moves the Plaster up into 8th place in the standings. We're into qualifying now. Just quickly updating my stats that I've got here. There we go, perfect. All good. So what we're going to do now, jump into the cockpit of your new champion and take a lap off Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, 2.433 miles round, very tricky circuit, heading up towards Paddock Hill Bend, and a big drift on the way through, but manages to hold it, going through there, still keeping as much speed as possible, up the hill towards Druids, use the bridge as your braking reference point, doesn't use all the track on the exit, but squirrely, down Graham Hill and into Graham Hill Bend, you can use a bit of the curb on the exit, but you don't want to use too much, might get a warning for that. And then we head up towards Surtees. This takes us away from the Indy circuit and back onto the Grand Prix loop itself. A little bit of a correction there over the rise of the cambered curve there of Surtees, and down this big drop, which is Pilgrim's Drop, heading towards Hawthorne's Bend, named after the F1 champion in 1958, Mike Hawthorne, and a big slide on the way through there, and on the grass as well. You don't want to be doing that too much. Into Westfield though, didn't lose too much speed out of there. Down Dingle Dale, not as fearsome as it used to be, unfortunately. Into Sheen Curve, clipping the inside there, 150 clicks on the way through, and into Stirling's, down to third gear, throw it in, let it run wide, cambered on the inside to help you drag it in, and then heading up towards Clearways is there, it's the old circuit, the Indy circuit rejunction, into Clark Curve. Oh, drifting his way through there is Crusher towards the line. That is a lap of Brands Hatch GP circuit. What is the lap time? It's a 1 minute 24.9. Very, very good lap time indeed from the Norwegian. There is John, who was in the chat earlier, who Robert is obviously here supporting, as mentioned. He's now finally got himself on the track after his earlier lobby incidents. We'll keep an eye on his progress in the 22 machine, see what he can do. May's just saying thanks to me, thanks for a great first season and more than welcome. It's been absolutely it's been a different experience for me, not just doing the commentary but also running the league as well has been different from another point of view. I'm used to just doing commentaries, so that's been a different experience, but you know, it's been quite rewarding. There's been some tough times, numbers I would have liked to have had a few more obviously, but you know what, first seasons are always trickier. Hopefully season 2 will improve, and obviously we'll see what the car choice is in due course as well. If you do want to get involved, as I say, TT_PCars on Twitter, or follow TTGaming Esports on Twitter. Those are the actual Twitter handles, and all the details will be up there of how you can join and all the rest of it, and when the new season is announced. Obviously, as mentioned during the sprint race, we are going to have the season finale BMW M1 Pro Cup. Anyone who is under the age of 25 probably won't know about the Pro Cup. Back in the early 80s, BMW tried to get a bit of recognition for their M1 supercar by having a host of drivers drive it during European F1 rounds as a one-off series. It only lasted 2 years, unfortunately, and most of the drivers never got around to fully competing in it due to their contracts with certain teams. For example, Ferrari drivers didn't want their drivers driving a BMW and stuff like that. Other tyre manufacturers got involved as well, so it's all complicated. But we're going to take those cars, one to Laguna Seca as mentioned, but we need to see if it's Brno or Imola for the second. Both very good tracks in my opinion though. Brno's actually a bit of a hidden gem for some good racing. It's a long track, but it does certainly bring out the driver in you as well. You really need to be on it as you go around. John set his first lap time in TTP Cars FC season. It's a 1:35.3, so he's 10 seconds off at the moment. Big John did get in okay, Robert. Yes indeed, he is there on the track now. He's currently in second, 10 seconds off the pole time. I'm sure he's just winding it up to have a go and see what he can really do. There is your pole sitter, your champion. Crusher flinging it into Clark Curve one more time. You can see he runs no assists either. If you look at the speedo on the right hand side, none of those. Traction control or ABS, and it's faster lap again, 24.5, phenomenal pace from the Norwegian. We'll on through John running a bit of traction control and ABS, no stability control allowed for any of the drivers. He could be running a low setting, or he could be running a high setting, it obviously depends. Man of Steel, and he's getting an Iron Brew sponsorship, no talking, just racing. Great punchline. And I get the feeling Bars won't buy that one though, unfortunately, but you know what, I've got about 3 crates down the stairs, so I'm alright, I'm well catered for. Alan Kay, you can see, has been going for the authentic experience with no assists. Jazz has only had a bit of ABS on, and it could be obviously a low setting as well. You do have the 2 choices, low and high. And McKinnon for you is doing the same thing, just a bit of ABS. Plaster in the pits at traction control and ABS, and Maze is the same as well. Me personally, I'm getting used to no traction control. I do like a little bit of ABS as John drifts his way through Druid's Bend there. It's a tricky car to control, the Formula C car, especially with the fact that it is obviously on default setups so that everybody can be involved. You don't need to be a setup whiz to be involved in this series, as Crusher goes past Alan Kay there towards Clark Curve on his latest lap time. 50-minute qualifying session, we're halfway through as Alan Kay heads for pit lane. And since we've got a few people here, I know a couple of you here have been watching all season as Crusher makes a big mistake into Paddock Hill Bend, climbing the curb there, throwed it in far too early, and that will ruin that lap time. McKinnon for you's moved himself up in the second, Jazz is now third, John into fourth, and Alan Kay in the pits in fifth. But for those that have been here most of the season, I know Man of Steel for example is definitely one of those, and I know the drivers have usually got it playing in the background as well. If you're not on track at the moment, what's been your moment of the season? You know, there's been quite a few good moments, quite a few situations, you know, quite good bit of racing. I always remember Alan Kay and Maze always being quite close together on the track at most places as well. Crusher and Jero at Silverstone earlier on in the season was, you know, had some good battles as McKinnon for you goes for a day trip to the beach. It has been nice enough weather for it, but you don't want to be doing that in a Formula C car. Then we had obviously Crusher, looked like he was on for a Grand Slam at Zolder and he got caught up in an incident with Maze. These things happen, he just couldn't get out of the way in time. It was an unfortunate incident. There's been quite a bit. I mean, if you had to pick a moment, pick one if you can. I know Man of Steel will be racking his brain at the moment, because he's been here for every round of the season and it's been an absolute pleasure. May's giving me the cheeky wink because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. I'm glad you're finally taking that as a joke, my friend. It's all meant as a good thing, my friend, don't worry about it. But it's been a good season. I'm looking forward to next season, as you know, it'll be interesting to see what car selection we have. I would like to see touring cars, something like maybe the Formula, the Group A's, you know, the old DTM cars. I think it'd be quite cool, but even the traditional touring cars would be good as well. But it's up to the drivers. Those guys that have been here this season will have priority vote on the VATR for next season, and we'll go with the majority of that, and then that'll give me time to make the calendar up. So that's what I'm going to need to do afterwards. Now let's have a wee check-see. So we've still got 3 cars in the pits at the moment with 5 minutes to go. Jazz is in third at the moment on a 30.9, but he was setting faster laps than that in the race, so he's got time in his pocket. It's just a case of being able to find it without making a mistake. McKinnon for you has got time in his pocket as well. That would be interesting. V8 supercars, V8 touring cars, yes, the old Ford Falcons. I've done league racing on those. They are a tricky bugger to handle. Those are not easy to handle. Very, about 650 horsepower, very heavy as well. And so, you know, who knows, that could be the choice next season. I do like the Group A's, you know, the Mercedes E190. May saying about the Renault Megane, the tourist car, that's another good car as well. That could be interesting as well. But you've also got the Megane touring car itself, rather than the tourist one. So it's just so many choices with Project Cars 2, and that's the beauty of this game. So many tracks, so many different car choices, you're never shy of something to drive. I mean, I've been doing it myself. If you follow myself on YouTube, and Andy Campbell, Campbell 81287, whatever you want to say, I've been doing again my classic motorsport series stuff, and I've been driving old Porsches. And between that and Assetto Corsa, driving the 91730 Can-Am was just, that was a beast to drive in Assetto Corsa. but they've got the 91710 as well on this game, the Can-Am, and that's really hard. Rallycross class, well, if there's enough interest for it, you never know. I get the feeling it'll probably be more circuit based, to be honest, Robert, but you never know. Not done much of the rallycross stuff on this game, to be honest. Something I need to try. That could be interesting, but we'll wait and see. It's obviously up to the drivers. They get the choice. Crusher Bro's decided to sit in the pits, join in with the chat, saying he's okay, that's it, happy with that. Not surprised when you're on a 24.5 and about 5 seconds clear of everyone else. Have I done any track racing in the real world? No, unfortunately not. I would love to. I've got a track day experience coming up in June in a Ferrari F430, but it's not at a proper racetrack, unfortunately. But that's going to be fun, driving a Ferrari, so that would be good. But I'd love to say get a proper single-seater and go around, say, Not Kill or something like that. That would be pretty cool. Crusher Bro, think I'm going to spice up the race a bit, you will see. Let me guess, you're going to start on pole and pull off, pull out to the side of the road, let everybody pass you and do something like that, I'd imagine. But we'll wait and see. Surprise us, don't tell us. We'll wait and see what happens, but at least you're giving me a bit of fair warning. Jazza's up in the second now. We've been watching McKinda for you go round. Jazza on a 28.7, so McKinda needs to find some track time. Been extending the track limits, getting invalidations, unfortunately. You better not brake check at the start. Two-stop race, maybe. That could be a good one, actually. Maybe there's an idea for weight ballast. Force a mandatory two-stopper for people like that. That could be one. There you go. God, I wish I'd thought of that one actually earlier in the season. That could have been fun. There you go. But coming into the final minute and a half of the session, only 3 cars on track. Jazza McKinda for you, and John Scott, who's currently in 4th for a 31.2. Alan Kay is still in the pits. Mason Plaster still in the pits. There's something from Mason Plaster we've seen a few times this season. Prefer to sit it out in pit lane rather than qualifying. Take a wee bit of a break. Take advantage of the race instead. We'll wait and see, but final minutes coming up, and it looks like Jazz has actually found some more time on the last lap there. Down to a 28.2, so find a good time just in the nick of time as well, because McKinda for you has done a 29.4. So they're getting a bit quicker into the last stages here. Robert, everyone to start on 5 litres of fuel. Reverse grid would be good, Crusher, if only the game would allow it. I would have this. I would have the feature race set as a reverse grid every time. That would be good, but the game doesn't allow it without doing it yourself. And well, I've tried it in a few championships. It can get a bit messy. It's not the easiest thing to do. Because if the game allowed it, I would have a qualifying session for the sprint, and then it would be reverse grid based on the sprint race. That would be ideal, but this game doesn't allow it. I know it's implemented in things like GT Sport or something like that, and you can do, but in this game it doesn't, or I would have it set up that way, to be perfectly honest with you. So that would have been brilliant, but we've done it this way, and it's new. You know, it's the first time we've done this as qualifying comes to an end, and it's been interesting, and even I'm learning as I go along as well. So, you know, we'll get there in the end. Here comes Jazza across the line. Any improvement to a 28.2? Yes, a 27.1. So he's found 1.1 seconds there in that final lap. Brilliant lap time there from the Jazz man. Meanwhile, John's coming up towards the end of his lap, coming through Westfield Corner just now. Heading down Dinglebell, Dinglebell. I was right the first time. And coming up to Stirling's now. And we'll see if he can improve in a 1:30. Can he get himself into the 29s possibly? That would be good, I think, for John. If he could get himself into the 1:29s. He's coming up to the final corner of the Clark's curve now, rubbing up the curve a little bit. But get some good speed. Needs to maybe just upshift a little bit quicker. running it right up to the rev limit. He does get into the 29s, the 29.9, stays in 4th, but improves for his last lap time. Here comes McKinda for you, 28.5 to beat. What does he do? He beats it to a 28.1, caught that just before it switched the session there, but it keeps him in 3rd place. So Crusher picks up the bonus point for pole position, and that means that Crusher has been on pole position at every race he's competed in since round 2. He's missed round 1, and he's been on pole for every race since. That's 7 pole positions on the bounce for Crusher, and well, it has been pretty crushing in some instances. He's been absolutely phenomenal pace in this championship. You see Jazz in second. That was a good lap time from the Jazzman with 27.1. And just looking through the splits there, you see Crusher's just up in every split basically. So he's just finding better time. McKinda for you in 3rd. Slovenian there with a good 3rd position. We hope not to make a mistake this time round. John in 4th. It's Alan K 5th. Plaster 6th and Mason 7th. The last two didn't set any lap time at all. Excuse me. So, waiting for the start of the race. That'll be interesting to see who does what. The Crusher's obviously promised something. We'll see what can be done there and see what it is he's going to do in just a moment's time. So, we'll wait to see as the car's ready up. Man of Steel expecting Crusher to go in reverse gear. We'd still win, well, I guess that's maybe a little bit insulting to everybody else, I'd say. We'll wait and see what can be done. I'm just waiting on all the drivers readying up, and then it'll be time to get underway for the final time in Season 1. Shouldn't be too much longer now before we go. Hopefully the drivers do hit ready. Would be helpful. I'm going to take a quick chance to get a drink of juice and hope that I don't get the hiccups like Not Kill again. Fueled by full fat iron brew. There you go. And we are ready. Oh, we've lost a few drivers as well. Who have we lost? Maze is still there. We've lost Plaster and Alan K, unfortunately, so we're down to 5 and we're underway. Let's see, what's Crusher going to do? He's pulled away easy enough to obviously avoiding the start line incident. Jazza holds on to second from McKinda for you. Coming up behind there on him is John, and Maze is in 5th place. Now what is Crusher going to do? Is he going to pit at the end of lap 1 maybe? Be interesting to see what he does. Easily through Graham Hill Bend. Jazza in 2nd place, holding off McKinda for you in 3rd. Then you've got John in 4th, and now you've got Maze in 5th position. To come down Hawthorns, down towards Hawthorns Bend for the first time with this 35-minute feature race. Mandatory pit stop required in this race as well, so every driver does have to pit at least once. If they don't, instant disqualification from the race ending results. Let's have a look at Crusher and let's see what he's going to do. He did say he had something planned. Let's see what it is. Oh, that's McKinda for you off again. That's the 2nd time this evening he's been in the wall. Looks like he just caught the grass on the outside there, coming out a Sheen curve. And is there any damage to that car? He's got suspension damage. You can see he's pulling to the right hand side, but he can make his pit stop now, and that'll get his mandatory stop that he needs to do out of the way also. Crusher Bro into pit lane, so he's making his pit stop first lap as well. So that's obviously what he's decided to do, is make an early pit stop. And let's see if there's going to be anything else. So Jazza takes the lead. John is now into second with Maze in third. Crusher coming out in fourth, and McKinda for you getting repairs in fifth. Robert asking if I can hear the drivers. No, I cannot. I do not have access to the drivers while they're racing, unfortunately. PlayStation chat could work, but then they'd have to listen to me rabbiting in their ears constantly, and, well, that's not the greatest thing when you're racing, hearing me going, oh, look at that! So don't try and force that one upon them. Maybe I'll get someone to come join me one time for, like, you know, maybe a starting lap or a qualifying lap or something, who knows, get a driver's point of view on it. Jazza leads, John is in second place, Maze in third, and Crusher is now in fourth place. McKinda for you back on track as well, having made his pit stop fifth. So Crusher and McKinda for you have made their mandatory stops. I know you can hear me, Crusher, because you're watching the coverage as well. I was talking about actually hearing me in your headphones or something, that'd be a bit different. Oh, McKinda for you off at Surtees there, avoided the wall this time. No damage this time for the Slovenian's car, but it looks it. No, everything's looking all straight and narrow, so that's good. But yeah, can you imagine trying to race and having me in your ear in the party chat? It'd be quite off-putting. I put myself off commentating when I'm trying to drive, for crying out loud. So there you go. So Crusher coming through the final corner, so he's making the early pit stop. I get a feeling he's going to make another pit stop later on. Who knows? We'll see. But Jazz is out in the front, and he's not had a victory so far this season, Jazz. It'd be nice if he could. The winners this season, we've had Crusher win 5 sprint races, Zero won 3, that covers all the sprints. Crusher is currently on 4 victories in the feature, Zero, Lyronics and McKinda for you all in 1 each through the field. McKinda for you won the first race, feature race at Alton Park, made a brilliant start around the outside into turn number 1 and disappeared off into the distance. Zero won the feature race, if I remember correctly, it was at Silverstone after Crusher made a mistake at Stowe Corner for the second race run, and done it in the sprint race as well that weekend also. And Lyronics won at Zolder, which was the evening that Crusher had the incident with Maze, which cost, you know, was unfortunate, just wrong place, wrong time. But it'd be interesting to see if anyone can take a victory before the end of the season, other than Crusher. So we'll soon see what can be done. So give me 2 seconds for a second. Jazz has got himself a lead of 3.5 seconds over John, with Maze in third place about 6 seconds back. Crusher still in 4th, 17.5 seconds off the lead and 8 seconds behind Maze. McKinda for you just coming across the line to complete his latest lap. He is in 5th place. He's just on 1 minute 30.0, so not a bad lap time there from McKinda. He tries to make up the 30 plus seconds that he's got to those, excuse me, up ahead. Dear me. So 5 minutes into the race, and Jazza in the lead. He has led a few laps during the season, but never converted it into a victory yet. Could tonight finally be that night that he does just that? Or will Crusher pull his way through the field and make a late pit stop just to spice things up a little bit? Who knows what we're going to see, what he's got planned, but it is the end of the season and anything can happen. John's not doing too badly at the moment. Nearly 4 seconds down just now off the pace. We've got another shout for Jazza in the chat there. I'm not going to try and pronounce your name though, because I'm absolutely terrible. You've heard me during the season with some of the names that have been racing, then you'll understand why. So Jazza's got himself some good support. He's had Man of Steel all season, obviously, family member. And now we've got another shout in the chat as well, so welcome along to the stream, my dear friend. Thank you for joining us. and also for giving your support to one of the drivers. Look at the Crusher catching up to Mays, 26.0 last lap to a 32.7. So Crusher coming back through the field now, and he is catching up pretty quickly onto the back of Mays. We jump on board with the champion of Season 1 coming up to Hawthorne's Bend, gently on the brakes, and then just throws it in, keeps it in 5th gear to avoid the wheel spin, carries tremendous speed through there, and same again through Westfield, never below 140 through there, and you can see just how much time he's gained, going so much quicker through the corners, and he's right onto the back of Mays now, and coming up into Stirling's up the inside he goes. It's a clean move, and he's through up in the 3rd position, just late on the brakes, and away he went, and that was in the end a pretty easy move, and he's going to try and pull away and chase down the 2 drivers up ahead. Meanwhile, Jazza 29.4 on that last lap. What has Crusher managed on that lap, despite overtaking a 28.3? So he still took about a second out of the leader's time, despite making an overtake on that lap. Just how much speed he carries through the corners, unbelievable through this week, through this season in fact, never mind this week, sorry. Maiden 4th though, he'll be still looking to pick up some good points for the end of the season, the end of season number 1. And it's been a decent season. He's also mentioned a little bit earlier to myself about, you know, some races have been a bit of a struggle getting used to the car, but it has obviously been a learning curve for everybody. This is the first time TT Gaming has done a league other than F1 2018, other than an F1 league basically. So, you know, it's a learning curve for a lot. It's a game I really do adore though. It's a game I really enjoy, Project Cars 2. And as I say, I'll be looking forward to seeing what next season brings up. Jazza still in the lead at the moment. Gap still around about the 4-second mark to John in 2nd. Man of Steel saying that Crusher makes it look easy. He does sometimes, doesn't he? He just carries some phenomenal speed into the corners. I just don't know quite how he does it sometimes, because I've tried it myself and I can't go that quick. Then again, you do try too much and you end... Oh, big hit. That's surely going to be some damage to Crusher's car. Well, that's what happens though, you push it, you sometimes just get a little bit squirrely coming out of a corner and you end up clumping the wall. It'll be interesting to see if that costs him any time in the long run. We'll jump back on to the cockpit camera and just see if there's any movement in the steering when he's going on a straight line. We're going to need to wait a wee moment to see. Lines it up. No, it looks alright. Looking pretty decent, still carrying good speed through the corners, so it looks like it's not going to be too much of a problem for the Norwegian to carry on and complete the rest of the race. Oh, and the leader's off. That's Westfield corner. Jazza's lost it. Coming out of Westfield, John Scott flies into the lead of the race, and that is a mistake there from Jazza, and I wonder if he has any damage to his car. Let's go on board and see if he's having to change the steering. We'll need to wait until he gets through Stirling's first to get an idea. Let's just see, is he... Yeah, he's having to turn slightly to the left hand side, so there's a little bit of suspension damage to that car after that mistake through Westfields. He's going to carry on and do another lap, so he obviously feels it's not bad enough, but that was a mistake at Westfields, that was, and I'm guessing he's just caught the inside curb, or the outside curb, one of the two curbs no doubt. It's just pitched him into a spin, and that puts John up into the lead of the race. But Crusher Bro is closing in. In fact, the Crusher Bro's into pit lane for a second time, so this is what he was talking about then. 2 pit stops is what he's doing. He is 2-stopping it. May's called it in the chat, 2-stopper, and he is going to be doing it. Oh, he had bad damage incident, so maybe it wasn't due to that, but there you go, he's got damage and had to pit from that incident last time by, and he's now came in to repair that, so he is now underway. McKinder for you is going to go past him into 4th place, and remember the Slovenian's made his pit stop as well. Jazza could be in a good position to maybe try and pit now if he's not got any major damage. He won't be in the pits for too long, as Man of Steel calls him a doorknob. We do not condone any sort of name calling in this place. But it was a bit, obviously we didn't catch it, we only caught the end of it, but I can only imagine that he's caught the curbing maybe on the inside or the outside of the corner. It's just pitched the car around. But he's still on track at the moment. Last lap was a 37 after that incident. Pitting now wouldn't be too bad an idea, I don't think, though, for Jazza to do, because, like, you know, Crusher's just had to make another pit stop, and yeah, Jazza is coming at the pit lane now, so he's possibly heard what we've been talking about and decided now is the time to get into pit lane, repair that damage and get back out. Well, there's a bit of a gap. Recon's joined the chat. Hello Recon, nice to have you along, my Dutch friend. Good to have you here this evening. I did notice you joined there late on TTL on Thursday night, but you know what, better late than never. And to that, we're good to have you here this evening as well for the finale of TTP cars. If you ever fancy getting involved next season, give me a shout and get you on the track maybe. Crusher Bros catching up to it kinda for you. Jazz is getting back underway. Maze has moved up into second. But kinda for you is not going to get through into third place. Apologies for the breach in rules. It's alright, I'll allow it. You can call him whatever you want later on behind closed doors, not a problem. Kind of names that I could call people is ridiculous. There was not even go there. Scottish banner. How much is Project Cars 2? But you know what, Recon, since we're having a wee moment here, and we're all good friends and everything like that, let's have a wee check. I'll go into the PS Store and give you an idea of what it is as we watch Crusher Bro all over the back of the Slovenian McKinda for you, coming up into Surtees corner, and he's able to sneak up the inside there and get through, and that is a move up into 4th position for your Season 1 champion, and that is him now on his way one more time. How much time can he take out to Jazza up ahead? So Project Cars 2. So at the moment at the PS4 store it's £48, which is ridiculous, but if you were to look online, places like you'd probably pick it up quite cheaply. I have seen it for around about £15 British before, sometimes less than that, so if you look around you'll probably get it for a decent price. But don't get it from the download in the PSN store at the moment because it's a ridiculous price, so there you go. But it is a very, very fun game. Alan K into chat, we'll deal with that one, Alan. We will deal with it afterwards. Crusher Bro coming through, he's actually already caught up to Jazza, and that is Crusher up into 3rd position. So that's him through into 3rd place. Maze there in 2nd. John leads at the moment. I don't think it'll be too long to see what goes on. He's setting consistent lap times in the 1 minute 30s. We know Crusher can easily reel in 3 or 4 seconds out of that sort of lap time before the end of things, and he's already got himself ahead of McKinda for you and Jazza. He's also picked himself up some sort of penalty as well. A 1 second penalty, that'll be for corner cutting. So be interesting to see if that comes back later on in the race. But McKinda for you is closing in on Jazza. You can see Jazza going through there at the bottom of your screen. There goes McKinda for you. Now these two getting pretty close again on track. We've nearly seen the start of what looked to be a good battle earlier on in race number 1 before the Slovenians pitched it sideways into Surtees and into the wall, gave himself wing and suspension damage to boot. And they're catching up. Oh, and he's done it again! And that's a wheel missing this time as well. He's off at Sheen Curve. 3 wheels in the wagon there from McKinda for you. It's another mistake from the Slovenian. This time a massive hit onto the right hand side Armco. He's going to get it back to pit lane and get it repaired and finish, because as long as he finishes he's going to end up 3rd in the championship, and you've got to finish to obviously gain the points. But he's going to make his way back to pit lane. Crusher Bro meanwhile is catching up onto the back of Maze at this point in time. He's really closed that gap in pretty quickly. 26.3 last time by. It looks like he's going to get a good run out of Surtees and heading down Pilgrim's Drop towards Hawthorns. Does Maze see him on the outside? Yes he does, and Crusher drafts his way through up towards Hawthorns Bend, and he's back into 2nd place. McKinda for you has made it back to pit lane, so he can get the repairs done, but it will be a lengthy pit stop, and that will be his 2nd pit stop as well into the bargain. Not what he needed, but so long as he finishes he'll still be able to make it through and finish in 3rd place. So we will see what goes on. Recon, don't understand. I don't know what that says, Recon. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm not quite sure what that is you're trying to say there, buddy. Oh, Jazza off at Stirling's. Coming towards the end of the lap. Just a quick trip across the beach in the gravel. And he is back onto track. Meanwhile, Mays into pit lane for his mandatory pit stop. So he's now decided the time is right to make the stop. And that is his pit stop now in the books. It'll be underway very shortly. It puts Jazza up into 3rd position. But kind of for you, they're just underway below. He's now made his way through, but he's now a lap down on Mays. Google Translate's always a good friend. Here is Crusher flying through Hawthorns, 29 seconds off the lead at the moment. But at the moment, the way he's going, he's gaining around about 3 seconds a lap on John up at the front. Where are the guys from? Well, from everywhere. I'm Scottish, as you can probably tell from the accent. Crusher Bro is Norwegian. Jazza is... I'm not sure where Jazza's from, but I'm sure he's English. 18 Mays is from England. McKinda for you is Slovenian. Alan Kay, who was in earlier, he's Irish. We had a couple of drivers there earlier in the season who've missed the last 2 rounds, missed last week due to PSN issues. Not sure what's happened this week. Lyronix and Rappy, they're German. And we had also the Zebra, Billy, who was American. So we had a real good mix of drivers. Gero was, who was in the season earlier on as well, was championship leader for a while. He was Spanish. So we've had a really good mix of people from all around. It's been really, really fun to have that mix as well. And I'm hoping to see more of the same. Physics. The physics. Yeah, the physics in this game can be quite interesting, Recon, if that's what you're talking about. You can make the slightest touch with the wall and it will not make any damage at all, or the next time you do the exact same thing and your suspension is damaged to about 40 out of 100. So, like any game, it's very touch and go. It just depends on how the game picks it up, unfortunately. If you were watching on this channel on TTTV, which by the way, if you haven't done so already, subscribe, on Thursday night with myself and Kieran McGinley for TTL F1, one of the Salba drivers crashed going into pit lane, jumped into the chat and let us know that it was a very small tap on the inside wall, but it just ripped the wheel right clean off the car. Just like any game, the physics can be hit and miss sometimes. It's really just one of those things, but it is a really good game, Recon. If you do find it for cheap enough, I do recommend you get a buy off it. Maybe you can come and join us for Season 2. It'll be about 3-4 weeks before we get started up on that, but it would be good if you could come along. I think you would enjoy it. It would be really good to know how quick you are on F1 as well, especially on TTFL on Friday nights with Malk in the box. But if you find it cheap enough, give us a shout. We'll see if we can get you involved for Season 2, my friend. Crusher, at the meantime, closing that gap, and he's already got it down to 23 seconds. It was 30 about a lap and a half ago, so 15 minutes to go. Everybody's made their pit stops except for the leader. He's still got a mandatory stop to make. Jazza's in 3rd at the moment, Mays in 4th, and McKinda for you in 5th. Now we just have a look at the timings. Him and Mays are on the same lap now. We'll just have a look at where Mays is on track. Nope, Mays has just gone across the line. So McKinda for you is a lap down just now at the moment. There is your race leader, 21 seconds now the gap, so that's 2 seconds between 30s and the end of the lap there that Crusher's made up. Phenomenal pace that he's putting in at the moment. 25.8 last time by. What's he going to do this time by? Let's have a look. Cross lines of 25.4, so that's 5 seconds in 1 lap. Phenomenal pace from your champion of season number 1. Rysix. I did try to pronounce it, there you go. It is an awesome game, I do agree with you. It's got its flaws, but what game doesn't? If you're interested, you want to get involved, come and give us a shout. We'll see if we can get you in for Season 2, because we're looking for drivers for Season 2. I'm sure we'll see quite a few of these drivers back for Season 2 as well that we've seen it through the year. Let's see, first TTF2 first, and then I'll join TTFL because I won all the... fair enough. Do you have to make the pit stops before a specific time? Yes, it must be done before the timer runs out. Can't do it on the final lap. So it does need to be done during the timed stage of the race. Crusher's got the gap down to 18 seconds now. So that'll be very interesting to see how much more time he can gain. John's going to cross the line for another lap. And we've lost Maze. What has happened to Maze? He's just dropped off the face of the earth there. Not sure what's going on there. We have lost Maze, and that means he's not going to finish this race now. And we're down to just the 4 drivers, unfortunately. I'm sure he's somewhere in this chat somewhere, and he'll give us a shout of what's going on in a moment. A very bizarre situation. Not sure, didn't see anything on track, so we don't know if there's been a crash or anything. But we've lost Maze, and he's not going to be able to add, possibly, to that podium he picked up in the sprint race. So that is not the greatest thing for him. And we're down to 4. Meanwhile, Crusher's got the gap down to 14 seconds now. Could be a connection, you never know. It has happened. I've had it happen to me actually, racing GT3s in another league this season, leading by 25 seconds at Road America, and 11 laps to go and my internet gave up and my connection died. So it does happen, and it is the worst thing in the world, especially if you're running pretty well. But kind of for you is coming into pit lane, so I'm getting the feeling he's got some more damage to that car. Can't see anything that makes it obvious on the stream. He's decided to come into pit lane, so that's his third pit stop off the race. He'll be underway shortly. He's obviously waiting on the repairs being done. Yep, so he's hanging about. Crusher's now got the gap down to 10 seconds with 10 minutes to go. .25.7. What is the fastest lap at the moment? It's a 25.4 from Crusher. Everyone else has done 29s at the moment, so Crusher absolutely flying along just now. That gap is down to about 11-10 seconds now, and just watch the speed he carries through here into Hawthorns. It's brilliant speed he can carry. And again here into Westfield corner, just flicking down the gear, chucks it into the corner, and there he goes. Am I looking forward to the race tomorrow, the actual F1 race in China? Yes, I am. Bottas on pole, very interesting. Didn't see that one coming, kind of blindsided me. Even Mace is asking what happened there. We don't know, mate. What happened to you? Couldn't see anything on track. Do your connection go or something? Not too sure. Chinese Grand Prix, yeah, looking forward to it. Bottas and pole was a bit left field for me. I didn't see that one coming. It looks like it'll be a very interesting race. Second time in history that the top 10 have been 2x2x2x2. 2 Mercs, 2 Ferraris, 2 Red Bulls, 2 Renaults, 2 Haas cars. That's only the second time that's ever happened in F1's 1,000 races. So I think it'll be a good race in the morning. Who will win? That's asking a question even I can't answer, but if you want to hear the full wrap-up of it, I'll post that on my own YouTube channel. Probably on Monday, considering that I'm busy tomorrow with things. But let's see, Maze, 2 cars parked on the straight and then disconnected. There's no colour cars that have been in here parked, so that must be a connection situation then that's happened. Frustrating as heck, as we were even saying. 2 cars parked on the straight. The only 2 cars that would have came out on the straight would have been Allens and Plasters, because they'd done that before the race, and that has happened a couple of times. But very strange one indeed, and it's a shame because you were looking to pick up some decent points there. The only bit that obviously consolation is that you're not going to lose out on any championship positions, because the guys behind you are either not here or not racing either, so your position is safe in the championship, which is you're going to finish P7 overall, mates, for season number 1. Meanwhile, Crusher's got the gap down to 4.5 seconds now. He's absolutely flying. How many laps to go? It's not a lapped race, Recon, it's a timed race. You can see at the very top of the screen, 7.5 minutes to go in this session. It's a 35-minute race, this second race. So what we've done this season is 2 races. Sprint race of 15 minutes, no qualifying, just a completely randomised grid, because you can't do random grids in this game, annoyingly. And then a 15-minute qualifying session where it is decided by the qualifying is the grid positions, and then a 35-minute race with a mandatory pit stop as well. Everybody except your race leader, who's going through Hawthorne Bend there, has made their pit stop. Crusher Bro at the moment is about to catch up and make a possible pass for the win here in this race. 6 minutes 50 seconds to go, and if you think that's a long race, Recon, you should try doing the endurance races. 2.5 hours. Try doing that in an LMP car. Oh, John slowed right down there and allowed Crusher easily to go past, so I'm wondering if there's an issue there, or if he just decided he didn't want to fight it, or if he made a mistake there. But just slowed right down there coming into the corner, and Crusher Bro makes probably the easiest overtake he's probably done all season, but that's him now back into what has become a bit of a traditional place for him, the lead of the race. Jazza in third place, John in second, Jazza in third, and that kind of for you in the fourth, having made 3 pit stops, twice for damage as well. Crusher's been in the pits twice as well. As McKinda for you, I believe that is, staying out of the way. No, it's Jazza actually, sorry. Staying out of the way. McKinda for you made 3 pit stops, 2 for damage. Crusher's made 2 as well. Second one was for damage, having gotten a big tank slapper coming out of Clark Curve and slapping the pit wall on the right hand side. But such is the speed that he's got, he's already back up into the lead of the race with 5.5 minutes to go. We are coming into the closing stages of season number 1. It's been a real fun season. It's been a bit stressful on my side trying to keep everything up to date. That's not been the easiest part sometimes, but I've had a good team around me. I'd like to thank Maze for his help, and obviously the promotion, the logos and everything. I also want to thank Alan K. Plaster, who helped out with the stewarding. Not that we've had many stewarding issues during this season, thankfully, but you know, those guys have been much help in the background, allowing us to get this on the road. And you know, it's those kind of guys that they're giving up their evenings to put on this, and it's not just me who's putting the rules together in this one and doing the commentaries. There's a whole lot done in the background as well with people that you don't even think about sometimes, and those guys deserve the plaudits as well. So thank you very much to you guys that have helped out through the season. Thank you to the drivers that are showing up each week as well. I know numbers have been a little bit up and down, but I do know Saturdays are not the greatest night to be racing, I'll be honest, but with other things that go on, the other races on TTTV, it's really the only sort of main night I could see working. Most leagues don't have something on a Saturday, and most of them are doing Sundays or during the week, so I thought it was something a bit different, and hopefully we can get some really good numbers. What has impressed me though is you guys that have been watching, looking back on the total number of views, the streams have had some of the best views on TTTV in most of the weeks, and that's something that's given me some phenomenal pleasure, so to speak, is seeing, you know, the figures for the likes. Man of Steel, I've mentioned a few times, thank you very much for joining us in each and every round, my friend. It's been an absolute pleasure having a joke and a laugh and everything through the season while you support your boy Jazza, who's currently in third and going to be second in the championship. There's been others around as well. Crusher's obviously been driving and texting, not recommended out in the real road by the way though. All the other drivers, Maze has been involved, Alan Kay's got involved in the chat as well. All the drivers in between have done bits and pieces as well, and that's what's made the season. Thank you very much to everybody who's watched, joined in, helped, the whole lot. Hopefully they come back with season 2 being bigger and better as well. It'll be absolutely phenomenal, and fingers crossed we can get that to happen. Keep an eye out on the Twitter pages. It is at TTGaming Esports, or for the main actual league Twitter page is at TT_PCars, and you'll find all the details getting posted up there and retweeted by TT Gaming's channel as well to what is going on for season number 2. We are into the last 2.5 minutes of this feature race here at Brands Hatch, and the final round of season number 1. That man there, Crusher Bro, in the number 2, the Norwegian, is your season 1 champion, and he is currently on his way to what would be his 4th weekend Grand Slam. That is both race victories, both fastest laps, and the pole position. He has been absolutely peerless when it comes to qualifying. Since he joined at round 2, he has been on pole position for the feature race for every single weekend going. It has been a phenomenal run. He's picked up 11 podiums, 9 of them have been victories so far. He's about to make it 12 and 10. And whenever he's been on the podium, most of the time he has been on that top step, and it has been a phenomenal ride. He's had 11 fastest laps, he's about to make that 12 as well at the meantime. Jazz is about to make it 7 podiums, which would only put him 3rd in the overall list for podiums this season, behind Crusher and Gerald, who was here up until round 5 at Zolder, who took 8 podiums before dropping out of the league. Kinda for you will finish on 6 podiums at this point in time as well. But I'm running out of things to say about how good Crusher has been this season, and just as I say that, he goes off the road and I give him a commentator's curse. It's hard to know what else to say, because I've said it already through all the streams. He's been so quick, he's been so consistent, and you know, from being someone who until he joined this league I knew nothing about, I never knew of any other leagues that he was racing in or anything like that at all. I didn't know what to expect when he joined the league. I expected a pretty decent driver to be up there fighting. I didn't expect some of the pace that he's turned, and I mean that politely. And he's crossing the line now to start what is going to be the final lap of the race, and he's on his way to what will be victory number 10 of the season. It will make it a 5 and 5, 5 sprints and 5 features, and he's nearly there now as he's coming towards the end of the race. John's gone through to start another lap. Now John has not been into the pit lane, and now that the timer's ran out, that means he is going to be disqualified from the final proceedings because he has not made the mandatory pit stop during this race. There is cool. Who is that? That is kinda for you there, missing a rear wing and a front wing, but he's just going to roll it round to the finish line. So he's going to pick up a podium now for that. But here is Crusher through Westfield for the final time, and well, he's been absolutely phenomenal through the entire season. He's going to take the victory here. It is going to be a 4th Grand Slam as well. Man of Steel, thank you very much for the kind words. I hope to see you back for next season as well. Hopefully Jazz Les as well, but we'll wait and see. But here comes Crusher Bro across the line to take victory here at Brands Hatch, and it is win number 10 of the season, and he wins the feature race. The champion rounds it off in style with another and his 4th Grand Slam victory. John is going to cross the line in 2nd, but he's not made his pit stop, so he is disqualified from the session. Alan Kay was mentioning, obviously, he hadn't been responding to our messages. We had posted about getting him to read the rules, and this is what's happened. He's not read the rules, and he's not going to pick up the points at all. That means Jazz is going to finish in 3rd. on the road, but he's going to take second overall, and it means McKinda for you is going to take the final podium, so it means just the 3 finishers overall. John sitting there in second, disqualified for not making a single pit stop, which is part of the rules. And John, I'm afraid to say, if you had responded to the messages we'd put in the PSN chat you're a part of, you would have known about this one, my friend. So I can only say it's your own fault there, John. I would say, if I was you, John, I would go and have a message with Alan Kay, please, because he's been trying to message you for a bit of time. But Crusher takes his 5th feature race victory, and he's 10 for the season. He is the winner and the champion as well. Second place will go to Jazza, and that will be his 7th podium of the season. Now tied with McKinda for you on 7 podiums, because McKinda for you is promoted up to 3rd with the disqualification for John. And that means the season standings are: Crusher wins in 1st position, 2nd for Jazza. McKinda for you does finish in 3rd place overall with Lyronics in 4th. Alan Kay finishes in P5. Gero finishes P6, just purely down to his consistency from earlier on in the season. Maze is in P7, helped with his points today as well. Plaster will finish in P8 with Rappy 9th, the Zebra in 10th, Sean in 11th, Siege in 12th, he only done a couple of rounds, Maximus, who was in early doors and dropped out, was 13th, Ben, similar scenario, 14th, and Sadiq with 10 points, 15th, and the last point scorer on the board. But that is it for the end of season number 1. As I've mentioned there towards the end, thank you very much to everybody who's joined in the chat, to those who have raced, those that have been along. Congratulations to Crusher on a fantastic championship victory. We will be back for season number 2 in around about a month or so's time. Join the Twitter pages, and that'll keep you up to date with what's going on, whether we follow the same car selection or whether we change to something different. We shall see what happens, but follow the pages and you'll find out. My name is Andy, thank you very much for joining me. Until the next time, I thank you very much for joining. But before I do go, if you are not subscribed to TTTV, please do so. Leagues going across the week. Tomorrow night, TTL F2 with Nexus, Cats and Jack in the commentary box. 225% races on there. Tuesday night and Thursday nights is TTL F1 with Kieran McGinley and myself joining Kieran on Thursday nights. And Friday night, Malk is in for TTFL. Saturdays, apart from next week with the M1 Pro Cup, will be there next week, and I'll be in the driving seat instead. But after that, Saturdays will go quiet for a few weeks until season number 2. My name's Andy, until next time, thank you for joining us, thank you all for the kind words there in the chat. Hope to see you all for season 2. Till then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Ta-ra.